I used to think the weirdest part about working night shifts was the silence. But silence doesn't follow you home. A scent does. And for 3 nights in a row, I came home smelling like a place I hadn't been since 2019, a diner that doesn't exist anymore. The place where everyone disappeared. Except me. So, I don't really tell people this story. Not face to face anyway. Mostly because when I've tried, they look at me like I'm either lying or mentally falling apart. I'm not trying to get attention. I'm not looking for sympathy. Honestly, I just need to say it out loud somewhere. To anyone, even if that's strangers online. My name's Darren. I'm 33. Live alone. Work nights at a packaging plant. I don't drink, I don't smoke, and I'm not into horror movies. But something happened to me back in 2021, and ever since then, I can't even drive down that street anymore. I'm writing this now because I think whatever happened back then is starting again. It's been quiet for years, but last week, I saw the sign again. The same glowing, flickering neon letters. Diner, open 24 hours. But there's no building, no parking lot. No nothing, just fog and that damn smell of burnt grease and lemon pie. So here's the story. All of it. Believe me or not, I don't care anymore. I think it started with the smell. You ever have something hit your nose so specific, it yanks you right back to a memory? Like a total flashback? That's what happened the night it started. I was working late, boxing up cartons in this freezing warehouse while half the guys were already passed out on break. I went outside for some air around 2:30 a.m., and the second I stepped out back, it hit me. Grease. Cheap diner grease. And something sweet. Lemon, maybe? Pie? Now, I've worked night shift for years. That smell don't belong anywhere near a shipping dock in the middle of an industrial park. We're surrounded by factories and empty lots. Closest food place is like 12 minutes out by car. But it was strong, like I was standing in a kitchen. I even turned around, half expecting to see one of those sketchy food trucks parked out front. Nothing, just fog and the buzz of the security light. Didn't think much of it at first. Figured maybe someone microwaved something weird inside. But then it followed me home. I got in my car, windows up, music on low. By the time I hit the highway, I could still smell it, like it was soaked into my jacket, or my skin. I even rolled the windows down halfway home to try to air it out. Didn't help. And when I got into my apartment, swear on everything, the scent got stronger. I took my hoodie off and straight up sniffed it. Nothing. Went to the bathroom and smelled my own hair like a lunatic. Still nothing. But the air in my apartment? It felt like I was standing inside that old diner again. Now here's the messed up part. That diner burned down in 2019. I used to go there all the time during my college years. It was cheap, open all night, and halfway between campus and my old place. Everyone called it Stevie's, even though the sign just said diner. Stevie was the guy who ran the place. Real chill old dude. Remembered your name, never wrote orders down, gave you extra fries if he liked your face. Then one night, gone. Whole place went up in flames. Some said it was an accident, others whispered it was something darker, but nobody made it out. Cops found 3 cars in the lot, but no bodies inside. Just melted booths and collapsed roof. And now here I was, 2 years later, smelling it, in my living room like I'd just walked in. I barely slept that night. Every time I turned over, I swore I heard the ding of the front doorbell, the one that used to jingle when someone walked in. You ever hear a memory? That's the only way I can explain it. My brain kept whispering little things, stuff I hadn't thought about in years. Seat yourself. Coffee's fresh. You want pie with that? By morning the smell was gone, but I was rattled. Deep down I already knew this wasn't going to be a one-time thing, and I was right. The next night things got worse. Next night at work I couldn't stop thinking about it. You ever have that heavy feeling in your gut, like your body already knows something bad's coming, but your brain's too dumb to get the hint? That was me, pacing around the warehouse with headphones in, pretending like I wasn't low-key losing it. But then, during my break around 3 a.m., I stepped out to the back lot again, and boom. There it was, the same smell, maybe even stronger than before, like someone had deep-fried bacon in motor oil and dumped sugar on top of it. That nasty sweet combo that turns your stomach but still hits something nostalgic. I turned in a full circle, just staring at the fog. No sound, no lights, but something in the air felt off, thicker, maybe. I stood there like an idiot for way too long, just breathing it in, trying to find a source. Then I heard it. That sound I hadn't heard in years. Ding ding. The doorbell chime. The one from Stevie's. It wasn't loud, it didn't echo or anything. It was just there. Like someone opened a door 3 feet away from me. But when I looked around, obviously nothing was there. I should have gone back inside. Instead, I took a few steps forward toward the chain-link fence behind the building. There's a little dead-end road that loops around the back, and I swear, I'm not even kidding, I saw a faint light flicker in the fog across the street. Flickering red and blue neon. Dinah! I froze. I blinked twice. The light was gone, no sign, no glow, just fog and some trash blowing in the wind. I backed up slowly and went straight inside without saying a word. Didn't tell anyone, didn't clock out early. I just kept my head down, finished my shift and drove home like I was being watched the whole way. And when I got to my apartment, the smell was already inside. No joke, my door was shut, windows locked, AC off. I hadn't even stepped foot in yet, but the second I touched the doorknob, I felt it, like heat from an oven. But it wasn't warm. It was that greasy diner air again. And lemon. But not just pie this time, cleaner. That old citrus cleaner Stevie used to spray on the tables. I unlocked the door and stepped inside, holding my breath like that was going to do anything. It was stronger than last night. Like someone had been cooking in there all day. My kitchen was empty. No mess, no dishes, nothing. But my dining table? There was a napkin, folded neatly, right in the center. I swear to you, I live alone. No one has keys. My landlord's never around. And this napkin, it had a damn coffee ring on it. I just stood there staring at it like my brain couldn't do the math. I didn't touch it. I didn't clean it. I didn't even sit down. I left. Grabbed my keys, got in my car, and drove to a 24-hour gas station like that was going to solve anything. Sat in my car outside the store for 2 hours, trying not to cry. I wasn't scared yet. Not really. I was just confused, shaken, like I'd time-traveled or glitched or something. It wasn't until I came back home, right before sunrise, that I started feeling the fear. Because the napkin was gone. But now there was a menu, right where I usually kept my phone charger, a laminated old-school menu from Stevie's Diner, with my name written on it in Sharpie. Table for one, Darren. I didn't touch it right away. The menu, I mean. It just sat there on my little side table, looking all normal and harmless, except for my name, written dead center on the cover like I'd made a reservation in hell. Table for one, Darren. Same handwriting they used on birthday menus at Stevie's. Same kind of thick black marker, except I never told anyone where I lived, and no one had keys. So how the hell did it get in? Anyway, I stared at it for a long time, didn't even sit down. I was still standing in the doorway with my jacket on and car keys in hand. Then finally, I caved. I picked it up. It felt real, glossy, heavy like an actual menu, grease-stained at the edges like it'd been used. I opened it. First page, starters, all normal stuff. Fries, onion rings, mozzarella sticks. But then, underneath that, memories you can't digest, $4.99. I paused, turned the page. Next section was mains, and yeah, there were real items there. Meatloaf, patty melts, pancakes, but every third or fourth item was wrong, like burnt regret platter $8.99, Cold shoulder roast served with gilt gravy, $10.49. He never called casserole, market price. My throat went dry. I flipped to the dessert section. Right at the top, lemon meringue lies, $6.66. And under it, you know what you did, complimentary. I closed it and just stood there for a while, holding it in my hand like it might bite me. That's when I heard the doorbell chime. Inside my apartment. Not my real one, the one from Stevie's. That soft ding-ding, like someone just walked through the front door and shook off the rain. I spun around fast. Nothing, no one. My front door was still locked. The windows were still shut. My lights were flickering a little, just slightly, but nothing looked broken. I was seriously starting to lose it. I did what I thought was the smart thing. I burned the menu, went out to the balcony, lit up the grill and tossed it in. It curled up real fast, started to blacken and smoke, and for one tiny second I thought I saw my reflection in the glass door behind me. Only I wasn't alone in it. There was someone sitting at my dining table. A shape. Just a shape. No details. I whipped around. Empty. I stood there, breathing heavy, watching the last of the menu turn to ash, and for about an hour I felt like I'd fixed it. Whatever this was, it was over. Spoiler, it wasn't. Because that night at work, the fog was back, and this time I swear on everything, I saw the sign, flickering through the mist behind the chain-link fence. Not just the word diner this time. I saw the full glow. Stevie's, open all night. It wasn't just a vision or a weird memory. It was right there, across the street, down a little hill that never used to be there before. The neon was buzzing, and behind it, people. Just shadows, moving around inside. I could smell the grease and lemon like it was pumping out of some invisible vent. And before I even realized it, I was walking toward it. I don't even remember deciding to move. Like 1 second I was standing there in the lot behind work, staring at that neon glow across the street, and the next I was halfway down the hill, fog swallowing my shoes. I wasn't sleepwalking. I was aware. But it was like my body was on autopilot, like some invisible string was tugging me forward. Every step made the air thicker, like breathing through a dirty towel. And the closer I got, the clearer everything looked. That little building? It was the exact same shape as Stevie's diner. The same chrome edges, the same big front windows, the red booths lined up along the side. Even the stupid little open 24/7 sign was swinging from a rusty chain. But the weirdest part? There were no sounds. You know how diners always have that background noise, people talking, plates clinking, the hum of a fridge? Nothing. Not even the buzz of the neon. Just silence. And when I got to the front door, my feet stopped. I didn't grab the handle. I just stood there. Because inside I could see the booths, I could see the counter stools, I could even see the little specials board behind the register. But every single person in there? They were all sitting completely still. Not moving, not blinking, all facing different directions like normal diners but frozen, like wax statues. I took a step back. My instincts were finally kicking in like, bro, don't go in there. Then the door opened by itself. Ding ding. Same chime, same volume, but this time it came from the real world, from that doorway, and suddenly everything inside started moving. Forks clinked. A waitress laughed, the sizzle of bacon hit the air, and one by one, all those people slowly turned their heads and looked at me. I don't mean just glanced, I mean full-on head turns in sync. Like they were waiting for me, no smiles, no emotion, just dead stares. And I swear, some of them looked familiar, like faces I'd seen in dreams or in old photos I couldn't place. I didn't want to walk in, I should have left, but my foot stepped forward again. And just like that, I was inside. It was warm, way too warm, like summer in a car with the windows up, and the smell hit me harder than ever. Lemon pie, greasy meat, burnt toast, syrup, all of it mashed together, but underneath was something sharp, like blood, maybe. I looked around. Nobody talked, nobody blinked, but they were all doing things, cutting food, drinking coffee, wiping mouths with napkins, like actors in a play who knew they were being watched. Then I saw the waitress. She stepped out from the back with a notepad. She looked normal, young, curly brown hair, red lipstick, apron, but when she spoke, her voice was wrong, like it was being played through a crackly speaker from the past. "Table for one?" I tried to say no, but my mouth didn't work right. She smiled and pointed to the booth in the far corner. My old booth. The one I used to sit at every night when I worked the grill in the back. The one with the chipped corner and the squeaky bench. And on the table, a plate, already waiting for me. I didn't walk over there. I appeared in the booth, like my eyes blinked and skipped the in-between. The food on the plate, lemon pie. But not fresh. It looked wilted, like someone had microwaved it 5 times and let it sit in the sun. And next to it, a folded napkin with my name written on it again. I picked it up. Underneath was a Polaroid photo. Old, grainy. Looked like it had water damage. It showed me, sitting in that booth, same clothes I was wearing right now, same face. But in the photo I was smiling. And someone else was sitting across from me. Someone with no face. Just static. Like an old TV screen where their head should be. I dropped the photo, looked up, and everyone in the diner had turned toward me again, their heads tilted, like owls. The waitress walked over and placed a coffee mug on my table. "Drink up. We've missed you." She smiled, and her teeth were way too many. I didn't want to touch it. The coffee, I mean, but the smell, it wasn't right. It was close to coffee, but not exactly. It had that roasted edge, sure, but underneath there was something sharp and metallic, almost like pennies soaking in a mug of burnt espresso. And the steam coming off it? It curled the wrong way. Not upward, not like heat. It drifted sideways, toward the window, like it was being pulled by something outside. I looked up to tell the waitress, no thanks, but she was gone. And now? Everyone in the diner was frozen again. Every single person. Mid-bite, mid-sip. One guy had a fork halfway to his mouth and his hand was shaking like it'd been that way too long. Like a glitch. My fingers were cold. I could feel them trembling against the napkin in my lap. I don't remember putting it there, but it was soaked through like I'd spilled something. And then the coffee spoke to me. No joke. Not out loud, not like a cartoon or something. But when I looked into it, I heard it. Like a voice inside my skull, all low and muffled like it was underwater. It said, "You're not supposed to be here yet." I froze. And then it said, "But since you are, drink up." I shoved the mug away. It tipped but didn't spill. Nothing came out. It was dry inside, even though steam still rolled off the top. I stood up so fast the booth squeaked like it used to when I worked there. And just like that, the whole diner snapped to life again. Clinks, slurps, chewing, chewing, chewing. The waitress was back, standing by the counter now. Still smiling, still too many teeth. And the people weren't ignoring me anymore. They were watching me, eating without blinking, forks going to mouths, eyes locked on me like I was the main show. So I backed away toward the door, and that's when I noticed there wasn't a door anymore, just a mirror where the front should be, floor to ceiling. And in the reflection, I wasn't alone. There was someone standing behind me. I spun around. No one, but when I turned back to the mirror, they were still there, tall, thin, wearing the same uniform I used to wear at Stevie's, black shirt, grease-stained apron, but their face was mine. Only older, worn down, eyes sunken, skin grey, and smiling, that same awful empty smile. And on the apron, a name tag. Darren. I couldn't breathe. I touched my chest and it felt like my name tag was there too. But I hadn't worn one in years. Then the lights in the diner flickered and when they came back on, every single customer was now wearing my face, every last one. Eating, drinking, smiling, forks scraping plates. The sound was too loud now, like metal on bone. I turned to run, but my feet stuck to the floor, literally, like the linoleum had melted around my shoes. I was trapped, and over the speakers, those old crackly ceiling ones we never used, came the waitress's voice. "You should have finished your shift, Darren." Then I felt something grab my shoulder from behind. Hard. I yanked myself free so hard I left one shoe behind, and when I finally got unstuck, I fell straight through the floor. Not metaphorically. I mean, the actual floor collapsed under me, like a trapdoor, and I dropped into blackness. Woke up in the alley behind my job, covered in dirt, one shoe missing, shirt stained with something that smelled like grease and lemon, and tucked into my pocket. Another Polaroid. This time, I wasn't alone in the booth. The faceless person had my face now, and I was the one blurred out. After waking up in that alley, I didn't go home. I couldn't. My keys were gone, my phone was dead, and every time I tried to think straight, my brain just kept repeating what I saw in that diner. That damn mirror, that damn smile. So I walked. Just wandered the streets like a stray dog. I didn't even know what time it was. The city didn't feel real anymore. Cars moved too smooth. Lights flickered even when they weren't supposed to. People looked off, like they were props, holding still until I got too close. I ended up at a gas station a few miles from my apartment. It was one of those older ones, only 2 pumps, flickery green sign, dusty windows. I figured I could at least charge my phone and call someone, maybe a friend, maybe a hospital. I didn't even know anymore. So I went inside. There was a guy behind the counter, but he didn't say anything. Just gave me a nod and kept flipping through a magazine that was upside down. I sat on the floor in the corner and plugged my phone into one of those USB ports near the chip rack, and it turned on immediately. Battery said 77%. Weird because it was completely dead an hour ago. Even weirder? The time said 11:11 p.m. Exactly. I stared at the lock screen, which should have been a photo of my dog but now showed something else. Me. Just me, standing in that diner booth. Same outfit, same face, same dead eyes. I didn't take that photo. I didn't even remember looking like that. And then my phone rang. Unknown number. I hesitated, but answered, and I swear to God I heard my own voice on the other end. "Hey," it said, "you're making this harder than it needs to be." I couldn't speak. The voice went on. "You were supposed to take your seat, Darren. We had it all set up for you. Why'd you walk away?" Then the voice laughed. "Don't worry, we'll reset the table." Click. The call ended, and the lock screen image. Now it was a photo of the diner again, only this time the place was empty. Lights off, booths dusty, plates still full like the customers just vanished mid-bite. And at the back, near the kitchen, there was a shape. Hard to see clearly, but it looked like me, again, but hanging from the ceiling, upside down. I dropped the phone. It hit the floor and started ringing again, same number, but I didn't answer this time. I just ran out of the gas station like something was chasing me. Except something was. I didn't hear footsteps. I didn't hear breathing, but I felt it. You ever get that feeling when someone's standing too close behind you? That pressure on your neck like heat from a mouth? That's what this was, but worse. It felt like I was being shadowed by myself, not watched, followed. Every turn I made, every corner I took, whatever it was, it stayed just behind me. I could feel its fingers reaching out, but every time I turned around, there was nothing, just the quiet hum of the city. I finally ducked into a laundromat that was still open, sat down behind a row of machines and tried to catch my breath. And I looked up at the old wall-mounted TV playing static above the dryers. The static faded, and a blurry, low-res security feed popped up. It was the inside of a diner. That diner. My booth. And me. Sitting alone. Still. Not moving. Same dead face. Staring forward like I'd never left. That was the moment I realized something horrifying. I never made it out of that booth. Not really. Whatever left the diner that day, it might have looked like me. It might have felt like me for a while, but now it's wearing thin. After seeing that grainy diner footage in the laundromat, something inside me broke. Like for real. It wasn't fear anymore. It was a sick kind of certainty. Like I wasn't losing my mind. It had already been taken. Swapped out. Rewritten. I didn't stay in that laundromat long. The other people there, well, they didn't feel like people anymore. There was an old woman folding towels who never blinked once, a guy watching the dryer spin even though there was nothing inside it. So I left. Fast. And I went back to the only place that might have answers. The diner. I figured if I could just walk in and face whatever the hell was going on, maybe I'd snap myself out of it. It was just past midnight when I got there. Place was still open. Lights on. Sign buzzing. No cars out front, the kind of scene that just dared you to walk into it. So I did. Again. As soon as I stepped inside, the smell hit me. Not food. Not even that weird bleach syrup scent from last time. It smelled like me. Sweat. Old clothes. Deodorant I hadn't used since college. It was like someone had recreated my entire body's scent and pumped it through the vents. The booths were empty, every one of them, except mine. Booth number 9. There was a plate on the table, still warm, same pancakes, same eggs, same black coffee with 2 creamers. And the seat? It was warm too. Like somebody had just been sitting there. I looked around for the waiter. Nobody. No one behind the counter. No kitchen sounds. Just that low buzz of electricity and a barely there hum I couldn't place. Like music underwater. I sat down in the booth, and I waited. Didn't touch the food. Didn't even breathe too deep. After a few minutes, something started to happen. The lights began to flicker, but not randomly. They were blinking in rhythm, like Morse code. Tick, 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 pause, tick, 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 pause. And with every blink, the diner looked older, like each flash peeled back a decade. The chrome dulled, the tiles cracked, the booths rotted out, the food on the plate started to mold over, and still I sat there, watching my own meal decay in front of me. Then I heard a voice from the kitchen. My voice. "Hey," it said, "you're back." I didn't move. The voice kept talking. "Left something behind last time. You remember?" I stood up slowly and turned toward the kitchen doors. They swung open on their own. Nothing inside, just darkness. But something moved within it. Something with my shape, my height, my voice. But not me. "Come on," it said again. "Just sit down. That's all you gotta do." I backed out of the kitchen, right back into the booth. My phone started vibrating like crazy. Pulled it out. New message, just one line. "The seat is for you and only you." I deleted the message instantly, but it popped up again. Then again. Dozens of times. My phone finally locked itself and displayed something I didn't expect to see. A countdown. Just sitting there on the lock screen, and ticking down fast. I stood up, ran to the front door, and slammed face first into glass that wasn't there before. The door had vanished, just a smooth glass wall now, no handle, no frame, nothing. I turned back around, and every booth in the diner now had a copy of me sitting in it. Some asleep, some eating, one even screaming silently, but all of them were me. And the one in booth number 9? He was staring right at me, with a smile, and he patted the seat across from him, inviting me. Same way the waiter did on the first night. I didn't sit. I couldn't. I backed away from booth number 9 like it was going to bite me. The copy of me sitting there just smiled, like it already knew I'd panic. He raised the fork, scooped a bite of eggs into his mouth, chewed, and stared me down like he was enjoying it on my behalf. And then I tasted the eggs. No joke. I felt them in my mouth. Warm, buttery, a little salt. Exactly how I like them. And I hadn't even touched the plate. I started gagging. The other me's in the booths all turned at once, eyes locked on me, like I was making too much noise in a library or something. Some of them stood up. only a few at first, then more, until half the booths had a version of me stepping out and moving toward me. Not fast, just calmly, like they weren't in a hurry, like I wasn't going anywhere. I bolted toward the back, through the kitchen doors. The second I crossed that threshold, everything changed. The kitchen didn't look like a kitchen anymore. It looked like some twisted, shifting hallway made of diner parts. Stove grates on the walls, syrup bottles hanging from strings, a floor tiled with receipts and crumpled napkins. It bent in impossible ways, stretched too long, tilted at wrong angles. I had to grab the edge of a sink just to steady myself, but when I looked into the sink, I saw my own hands washing dishes in it, like it was a memory on loop. No matter where I turned, I kept bumping into pieces of my own past. Here's the booth where I ate alone in college. Here's the receipt from that road trip I swore never happened. Here's the ketchup bottle I broke when I was drunk and hungry at 3 a.m. last year. And then I saw her, the waitress. Same one from the blurry photo on my phone. She was just standing there at the end of the hallway, wearing that same crooked name tag. Only this time, the tag said, "Table for one." She pointed behind me. I turned around, and booth number 9 was there, in the middle of the hallway, with me still sitting in it, still eating, still smiling. "Why are you doing this to me?" I asked, or maybe shouted. I don't even know if the words left my mouth. The waitress didn't answer, but the copy of me in the booth did. He looked up from his plate and said, "Because you made the reservation." And then he reached across the table, grabbed my phone and held it out like he was showing me something. It was my home screen. Only every app was gone, except one. A single icon that looked like the diner's logo. I touched it. And suddenly I was back in my car, parked outside the diner. Morning light bleeding through the windshield. My phone was dead. My shirt was soaked in sweat. The seat under me was warm, too warm, like I'd been sitting there for hours. I didn't go to work, didn't go home. I just drove anywhere, nowhere. I didn't even stop until the gas light came on. I finally pulled over at a rest stop, locked the doors and tried to sleep. Didn't work. Every time I closed my eyes, I was in that booth again, sitting across from myself, chewing food I hadn't ordered. When I woke up, my phone was somehow charged, and there was a new message. Same sender as before. "Next time, we'll order for you." I didn't go back to the diner, not right away, but it didn't matter. That night, I started dreaming in menus. Like literally, I'd close my eyes, and there'd be this laminated sheet floating in the dark, covered in food items I never ordered in my life. Memory omelette. Loneliness toast. Regret special comes with sides. Existence over easy. Corny names, right? But reading them made me feel things like real things. Emotions I hadn't touched since childhood or breakups or worse. And at the bottom of the menu, today's special, you. Every single night. Same dream. Same seat. Same damn copy of me across the booth. I stopped eating. Couldn't even look at food. Every bite tasted like dust or metal or someone else's breath. I tried deleting the messages. They kept coming back. Tried changing phones. Still got the same texts, different numbers, always the same line. "We're holding your table. Don't keep yourself waiting." One night I broke down and started searching online. I know how dumb it sounds, but I thought maybe, just maybe, someone else had been through it too. And then I found them. A whole damn forum. Not on the regular web. This was deep net stuff. Ugly layout. No usernames. Just story after story after story. People who all claimed the same thing. I ate alone one night, and now I never eat alone again. Some had worse stories than mine. One girl said she walked into a diner and saw a waitress with no mouth hand her a plate of spaghetti that screamed the whole time she ate it. A guy posted that he tried to skip out on his bill, and now every mirror shows him still sitting in that booth. Another one said their twin showed up after the meal, except they'd never had a twin before. They all ended the same way, with a phrase. Different wording, same meaning. There's no check, the price is being paid one bite at a time. That's when I knew I couldn't avoid it anymore. I didn't go back because I wanted to. I went back because I had to. It was raining that night. No cars on the road, no wind, just a dead kind of quiet. I pulled up to the diner. Same as always, except this time it looked new. Like it had just opened. Fresh paint, neon sign perfect, not a crack on the windows, even the pavement was clean. It was like stepping into the first version of the place, before all the rot, before me. I opened the door. There were other people inside this time, but none of them were moving. They just sat there, hands on the table, eyes blank, not blinking, not breathing, like mannequins that used to be alive. And at the far end, booth number 9, my booth. Already had food waiting, and me, I was already there too, sitting across from an empty seat, just waiting. I didn't want to do it, but my legs moved on their own. I sat down. I stared at the version of myself across from me. He smiled. Then he held out a menu. Just one item. End of the line, served cold. He pushed the plate toward me and said, "This is where we decide who stays." I sat there for a long time, just staring at the food. It looked normal, like eggs and bacon, maybe some hash browns, nothing gross or weird, but I knew what it really was. That plate wasn't just food. It was me, my memories, my habits, my loneliness, my worst thoughts. And the stuff I'd been trying to ignore for years, cooked up and served hot like I'd ordered it myself. Across from me, my copy was just sitting there. Not rushing me, not forcing anything. He just waited, smiling, like he knew I'd eat it eventually. I picked up the fork. My hands were shaking so bad I almost dropped it. Then I took a bite. One single bite. And I felt everything. Not just taste, not just flavor, but pain, regret, fear. I saw every time I said I'm fine, when I wasn't. Every dinner eaten alone with the TV on for noise. Every night I convinced myself it didn't hurt to be forgotten. Every empty birthday, every ghosted text, every fake smile. It all came crashing back, and I kept eating, because something inside me whispered, if you don't finish your plate, you'll never leave. My copy across the booth, he started fading, like he was made of smoke. One bite at a time, I was eating myself back into place. Undoing whatever mistake had split me into pieces. And then the food was gone, just a clean plate and an empty seat across from me. I looked down at my hands. They were mine. No more shaking, no more flickering lights, no more buzzing in my ears, no more whispers, just silence. The waitress walked over. Same one, same crooked smile, but this time, she wasn't creepy. She just looked tired. She handed me the check. It was blank, except for one line. Paid, table for one. She nodded once and walked away. I stood up. The diner was empty, for real this time. No other me's, no creepy versions, no mannequins, just me. I stepped outside. The sun was rising. Felt like the first time I'd really seen daylight in weeks. I got in my car, turned the key and drove. Didn't even look back. That was 6 months ago. And yeah, I'm okay now. I eat with friends. I talk more. I actually answer texts instead of pretending I'm busy. I even started cooking for myself again. Real meals, not microwave sadness. But sometimes, when I'm driving at night, I swear I see a neon sign flicker in the corner of my eye. And once in a while, I wake up with a new text on my phone. Always from a number that doesn't exist. Always the same message. Your table is still waiting.